Frank and Shi, this is The Wave, a salary survey conducted by a world-leading recruitment consultancy shows that employees' expectation on an increase of salary and employers' challenges, of course, in 2024. Today's guest will tell us what employees demand and how companies can retain, of course, their talents through the practice of counter-offers. Joining me now is Ms. Punyanu Sili Sawatana, the Robert Waters Thailand Country Manager. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, this survey, this salary survey is really important for us about the insight, of course, as what I said, the employers' challenges and employees' expectation in 2024. Could you please walk us through the main points, the important points in this survey, please?
Okay. So normally we do salary survey every year to really seeing what is the trend in the market, to really advise the client and also candidate. The key important point of our salary survey this year is really showing what is the important when the candidate decided to stay with the employers, and also what is the percentage that candidate expect when they stay with the employees, or when they actually want to move job, what is the percentage that the new employer need to give to them to be able to attract them to join the new company. And also we talk about the trend as well, three trend that is a biggest trend in Thailand. The first trend is boomerang. The second trend is more on internal mobility, that people thinking of stay in the firm but actually expand their job. And the third trend is more on interim role, meaning we actually have some shortage of the candidate in the senior level. How we can really find a solution. So some of the Western company, the Western culture, they actually using people or candidate who early retire to really cover those roles for a few years to be able to really find the right candidate to join them permanently. And also the trend of the landscape of the hiring trend in Thailand that we include in this survey.
So you talk about many important points there. Of course, we've seen in the survey, as what you said, internal market and of course retire plan here. And a significant trend in the survey shows that the employees tend to consider flexible working, work-life balance, and CSR and ED&A. Of course, CSR means Corporate Social Responsibility. ED&I means Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. So what do employees shift their focus to this aspect? Why do they think this is very important?
I think because during COVID time, that everybody have a chance to working from home and using technology as part of their work, so that they can actually meeting people online, and it's actually working fine during those times. So that's why when people actually when COVID is gone or getting better, when they have a chance to come back to work, they're still thinking that maybe I don't need to work in the office 5 days. Maybe hybrid working is the right model so that they can balance their time with family and also with the work as well. And I think a lot of company in Thailand, more than 70% actually adopting the hybrid working model. But this year there's a trend as well that the employer really maybe starting to shift back a bit, instead of 3 to 2 days to be 4 in 1 day. And some company already starting to come back full 5 days. In Southeast Asia, I think Malaysia, Indonesia is leading on this. A lot of company they actually call employee back for 5 days already in those two countries.
And how do you see the trend? Because of course this is the conflict between employees and employers, because of course employees, they want to maybe not stay home, they want to work from another place, but employers want to call them back to work at office.
I think it also depends on the nature of the job, because some of the job really can work online, but some of the job they need a lot of cooperation, they need a lot of really working meeting face to face. So it depends on the company whether what industry that they are in. What is the nature of job? Maybe in the same company, some function, some department can work online. Some function will really need to come back to the office.
And when in this survey, of course, there's other important points too. I think the first one is what I see. The first point that I caught my eyes, of course, is the salary raise for the employees, because they want to see the raise, no matter it's the global economic uncertainty or inflation in other countries too, because it has raised our living cost. But on the other hand, this is the burden for the employers to raise the salary. So what's your insight about this?
I think we really seeing a lot of like strong expectation from the candidate side, because coming to this year 2023, I think like the candidate also feel a little bit reluctant because of the economic downturn. They're thinking of when they're moving is a risk associated to the moving job. That's why when they actually like thinking of moving, they need to really having a salary that is cover that risk. That's why they tend to request quite high in terms of salary. But in terms of the employers, I think because of the economic downturn, like the employer really like really need to focus on the spending as well, to really lower the cost that the company need to spend. So there's some gap in between. So I think like what happened is a lot of candidates might not be able to really like get the salary that they expect. So it really depends if the role and if the candidate is really like the plug and play candidate, meaning it's the role that is exactly what they used to work, what they have experience. They might be able to asking for 20-25% possible, but not meaning the employer can provide that number. But if the role is more like they need to join and learn and need to develop themselves through that role, normally the rate that they will get will be only 10 to 15. So it's not really like a set in stone. It's more like the situational of like the role that they join.
But you talk about 10% increase there. It's actually a quite big number for the employers to put the budget in for the individual too. Of course, in this survey, there's a very significant data that more than 70% of the employees they consider to move out from the country, and we talk about the employees, the companies. So it means that counteroffer, this concept comes in. So of course we're gonna see in 2024 in the salary survey shows that of course the counteroffer practice might be the key. So what do you think about the counteroffer practice in Thailand
counteroffer
right
is
now?
something that we're facing for many years. I've been working here for 14 years. It's been the solution that many companies actually use it, but not as intensively as the past 2 years. Even this year 2023, I think more than 90% of the offer we really have counteroffer, because the market is quite dry in terms of the candidate, because candidate quite cautious in terms of moving, right? Meaning the available candidate in the market is short. So when it's short, the company, they know already that if they're losing this candidate, when they need to find a new one, the cost will be higher. It takes time as well. And people also need to adjust to the company before they can start productive in the role. That's why a lot of companies trying this short-term solution for 2022 and 23 to really like offer the counter-offer to the candidate.
It's the trend that
it's the trend, but I think it's not really like the solution that is long-term, because it's also creating the culture that, okay, if you want to get salary increase or if you want to get promotion, you need to threaten your company that you want to resign before you getting it. So people who loyal to the company will start questioning, right? So I think it's a short term when market is really like having a gap of demand and supply, but long term this solution is not going to be workable. Long term. It will damage the culture of the company.
And you talk about actually the market right now is dry too. It means that the talent is scarce. So we have to, right now we can see of the practice that companies have to fight against each other to use this one, but for long term it's not a good practice.
It's not a good practice.
Right. So as what you said, of course, right now the market is dry. We do not see a lot of talents in the market. How could employers retain their talents in the company right now? Of course, in the survey, we've seen they want to see an increase of salary. They also want to see if they have other opportunities in other companies too. So how could the employers retain their talents?
I think most of the reason before the candidate start looking, money might be one of the top 3 or top 5,
Yeah.
but normally money is not the top one. It's not the first thing that the candidate actually looking when they move out. Most of the time is about like the career, whether they can grow with the company,
Yeah.
the learning, and whether the job is still challenging,
Yeah.
is still interesting for them or not. So I think apart from the salary, which I think like most of the company, they do salary survey already with the HR consultant firm, they need to make sure that they stay on top of the market in terms of the competitiveness, which I think like the company does already. But I think apart from that, they need to really like creating the career path for their employee. They need to make sure that the communication of career path is there. People need to really knowing exactly how they can move to the next level. When is that going to happen? What is the criteria? So that they know what is the goal, right? And also another important point that is actually like from the candidate is more on the learning. The company that provide a lot of learning, some company really like provide the funding. They're actually like having a fund for everybody for them to study something that they keen or they actually like want to improve. And it can be soft skill, it can be leadership, it can be technical thing that relating to that job. That is another thing that keep people motivated and want to stay with the firm. Yeah, and also the culture of the company as well, and whether the role that they working on, is it value to that role? Is it value to the society? That's why the ESG is now really like a popular concept that people want to work with in the organization that return something to the society.
Yeah.
Because we know that in 10 years or 20 years time, like world will be quite bad, right?
Yeah.
In terms of like the environment and everything.
Yes.
So everybody need to be like helping each other to make sure that we try to sustain what we have now. Yeah.
You're talking about learning and development. That's a very, very important angle there because, of course, I've seen big conglomerates, big companies, they have this kind of concept or course for employees to develop themselves, of course, related to their position. But maybe for medium-sized companies, they have to start to think about this concept if they want to keep their talent in the company too.
Yeah.
And you talk about ESG, of course, people or employees, they will think about, okay, what the company would do for the society. What's the company's responsibility to help our society? And people want to, of course, stay in that kind of company too.
So that they feel that they have value in that job. It's not only profit anymore. It's more like, okay, what I can do to help global issues.
And including environment too. That's a very important point. Of course, we talk about the challenges from the company too. Employees, of course, they demand for an increase of salary, 6%, 10% of raise of their salary or the bonus scheme they want to see too. So just want to understand, given all the global economic uncertainty, inflation have occurred extensively, what are employees' expectation on salary and companies' initiative in 2024? Of course, you have a very good report in different industry. We've seen 72% to 88% of the recipients, they want to see increase of salary.
Yeah.
So employers, they have so much work to do to keep their talents in the company. What's your insight about 2024 in this kind of?
I think I learned from many years that I've been working in this industry.
Yeah.
I think, like I mentioned, like maybe people actually may think about money first when they actually like when we're talking about moving job. But actually, the real reason when people thinking whether they want to work with this organization or whether they want to leave, it's actually much more than money. Yeah, that's why I saw many organizations that it's a big organization. Even though the pay that they pay to the employee is not the top in the market, but they can retain people. They can retain people because the communication is clear in terms of the career part.
Yes.
The communication is also clear in terms of salaries increase, like the merit increase and everything is also clear in terms of the salary band. Yeah, so people know exactly that the skill that they have and the role that they have, they are still within the market. Yeah, so if the company make sure that they actually like in the market, the range that they pay each position is competitive,
Yeah.
I think that is the first part that they can make sure that they can retain the employee. Because meaning if it's competitive, other company will not be able to offer as well.
Yeah.
It will be slightly the same salary, and also the employer need to really balance the equity of the salary of the new employee and also the current employee. Meaning if everybody keep it quite competitive, I think it's more toward the learning and also toward the career that the employee will look at when they actually like thinking of moving or thinking of joining the company.
And you talk about at the beginning of this interview, you talk about it's not just salary too. It's about the culture in the company. It's about how the company could develop their talent and internal market too. Maybe they have the opportunity to move to another department to learn the new skills too.
Because we also seeing that like there's a lot of candidates decided to stay with the firm even though they're thinking of moving at first because the company offers some like role that is not really promotion but it's more extend the role to maybe cover other country or maybe doing something else that they never done before, which they think is a challenge. Because right now I think like what people or employee looking in terms of the career it's not meaning that they want to be the top of the company anymore. They might not be want to be the CEO, but they just want to stay where they are. But then they want to cover more space. Some of the candidates got like maybe cover Thailand and Vietnam, cover Thailand and Malaysia, and they think it's actually challenging already. Yeah, and they decided to stay because it's another learning that they can learn. Yeah.
And I think in addition to learning part, the upskill in the company is very important too, of course, because again, company should provide the opportunity to their employees if they want to.
And a lot of the firm, they have the academy. They also have like some, every single step that people will move up, they have the training, both technical and also soft skill. Because when you change from people, from being individual to be people manager, like the skill that you need also change in terms of soft skill.
Right. Good to talk to you. You talk about, at the beginning, you talk about the concept of boomerang.
Boomerang,
Yes, could you please, explain a little bit on that too?
So boomerang really happen a lot in Thailand at the moment and also globally as well because like you mentioned, the talent is shortage. Boomerang is when you want to hiring people, you actually like start to consider somebody who used to work with you before. So the employee that used to work with you maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and they have gained some technical knowledge or soft skill, really like develop themselves to be another leader, and they actually came back to join the organization. The good thing is, I think they used to work with you before. They know how to use the system, they know the culture, they know the people. So it's actually more easy than a new person to join the company. So that is also the trend. And we also have the survey on this topic as well. And I think like 80% of the employer actually like welcome to really receive people who used to work with them back. And around 72% of employees, they also open to really like consider moving back to the employer that they used to work with.
So it's both benefits for the both sides too.
Yes. But they also have some concerns, like challenging for this one, right? Because if you actually like receive employee that used to work with you, but then came back and they just left only a year or two, but then they came back as a higher position, like if it's very high position, it's also sending some signal as well that you're not really like giving the opportunity to the people who loyal to you. Yeah, so people might think that they need to leave the company first in order to get back higher in a higher position. So there's pro and con to this. Yeah, so I think it needs to be carefully communicated why the company decided to make decision to hiring people who used to leave the company. Yeah, if it's 5 years, 10 years, I think that is understandable. Yeah.
And it's more practical because, of course, the employee, the individual has learned and, of course, experienced a lot in other places. And this previous employer think that, okay, this is the value of this candidate. And, of course, we have to take the person in. But if it's just 1 or 2 years, that's the question mark there for people.
Yeah, need to be a little bit careful when taking this action. But it's a trend.
Yes, that's the trend right now.
Yeah, because it's scarcity of the candidate. In the market.
And especially the talents one.
Yes.
So what the employer should do is very important. Thanks for your insight today. And it's very important to understand the trend in 24, challenges for employer and anticipation and expectation for employees. So we will see how it goes in 24. Thank you for today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me today, Ms. Bunyanuk Sirisawatana, Robert Waters Thailand's country manager.
Thank
More
you.
news to come.